here, hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon WTF Moments. I'm not having a wonderful day. I'm a bit ill, I got a bit of a stomach bug or something going on, so if I'm not as chirpy as I normally am, I'm sorry, but I didn't want to disappoint you. I want to make sure you got these videos coming in because I know a lot of you are big fans of the series, so we're going to plow on. I'm not going to waste time talking about the brand new merch though. You can find that down in the description or in the little YouTube shelf thing. Go check it out for yourself. Loads of stuff on there in the new and improved merch store. It's wonderful. Cool. Anyway.
Give some likes. I need likes. Let's go for 1,000. That helps the video. It helps me. You know, we feel better a bit. Probably hit subscribe if you're new to the channel because I'd love to see you, commenting and whatnot on more videos. So subscribe to that.
But without further ado, let's take a look at the WTF moments of Pokemon Season 1, Episode 39, Pikachu's Goodbye. Although, also, there's Holiday Hijinks and Snow Way Out, I think it is. And they don't actually have episode numbers. I don't quite know where to put them in the series, so I might do those next as like bonuses, but Episode 40 is supposed to be the Battling Eevee Brothers. I don't know. We'll do Pikachu's Goodbye for now though, alright? We start the episode with our heroes taking a break in a quiet forest, and Ash swings in doing his best impression of the Kangaskhan Kid, but smacks into a tree as if he's George of the Jungle. Finally confirming once and for all that that episode really did rip off that incredible movie.
As I told you before, Tommy is not inspired by George of the Jungle. George. He's actually inspired by Jungle Book Mowgli, which Bulbapedia even pointed out, which I don't know why you still think that Tommy is Jungle Boy, which you should say instead that Ash is inspired by George of the Jungle, not inspired by Tommy's idea.
Ash's Pikachu spots another Pikachu in the bushes and instantly ditches all of his friends to go and follow it. Selfish little. Ash, Misty and Brock give chase and Pikachu leads them to a herd of wild Pikachu. Is it a herd? A horde? A cluster? Okay, according to Google, a group of mice is called a nest, a trip, or a mischief. So they found a nest of Pikachu, a trip of Pikachu. They found a mischief of Pikachu. Let me know your favourites in the comments below, I guess. Although let's face it, nothing's beating a murder of Murkrow, is it? Pikachu runs over to the wild Pikachu and all the wild Pikachu run off scared because of course a Pikachu would definitely be scared of another identical Pikachu. Pikachu are all pussies. Pass it on.
That's a good question.
Now, if this was pre-2016, this Pikachu being tiny would be weird. But since Pokemon Go, and especially Pokemon Let's Go, introduced height and weight differences and huge and tiny Pokemon, it's really not that weird anymore, is it? Now, due to gender differences in Pokemon, technically aren't all these Pikachu male? Let's call it like it is. It's a Pikachu sausage fest, mate. I know, gender differences in Pokemon didn't come to be a thing until later, but still. When the wild Pikachu finally warmed to Ash's Pikachu, Ash runs over wanting to join in, waving his arms like an insane person, and scares off all the wild Pikachu. Ash is a bellend and a party crasher. Pass it on.
I agree with that. Like, seriously, Ash, you should let Pikachu introduce you to, you know, his friends, not rush into it.
Brock and Misty reckon this area of the forest is probably like some kind of Pikachu paradise, even though realistically there's nothing particularly special about this forest compared to any other forest they've been to. Honestly, I swear sometimes Brock just makes things up so that he sounds like an expert when he actually knows bugger all. The tiny Pikachu, who was eavesdropping from up in a tree, slips off the branch it's on and falls into the river below. Of all the branches you could have hidden on, you picked the one that was directly over the river. You...
Meme! Look at you. You who were once so proud. Go now and never return.
Ash's Pikachu dives into the river to rescue the other Pikachu, but also gets swept up in the current. I guess you could say that rescue was not very effective. Sorry, I'll leave.
Meme! No. It's now illegal to use your meme!
The rest of the wild Pikachu all linked together like a long chain of those like plastic monkeys used to get in the little barrel. Do you remember those? And I'm just here wondering why and where did they learn this maneuver? Maybe life in the forest is getting a bit tough for them and they're working part-time at a circus or something? I honestly don't know.
Liam answered himself cliche.
One of the wild Pikachu uses Nuzzle to revive Ash's Pikachu. That's not how Nuzzle works.
I guess he forgot that Pikachu did that before in episode 2 where the Pokemon Center's Pikachu, that's part of the backup system, where it will energize Ash Pikachu. Though, I suppose he didn't TF moment that Pikachu just used Nozzle, a Gen 6 move in G1 episodes. Which, strangely, you didn't point that out since you always point out that, oh, that's not Gen 1, that's new generation later. That's a missed opportunity there, eh?
Ash's Pikachu is awarded an apple for its bravery. Firstly, it didn't help at all anywhere, so it does not deserve a prize of any kind. Like the wild Pikachu would have saved the tiny Pikachu regardless with their little chain routine, Pikachu didn't really factor into it. And secondly, an apple? What kind of prize is that? Do you know how common apples are? That's pathetic.
Well, actually, Liam, since these Pikachu are wild creatures, they probably only have access to fruits and berries and such.
I don't care. An apple is an absolutely wank prize and you will not convince me otherwise. They should have gifted him a Thunderstone. Although saying that, how would they pick a Thunderstone up without evolving into Raichu? An apple it is.
First off, how did you forget you point out the monkey chain and not notice that Pikachu did help out that little Pikachu there? Second of all, they learn how to answer on that and you just ignored that because the fruit is not very good for it. Which, mice do eat fruits and veg all the time in the wild, you know. So it would make sense. Though, it wouldn't make sense if you mentioned blackberry or raspberry instead. Thunderstone?
Team Rocket are excited to catch a whole bunch of Pikachu, when really they should be realizing how common and how worthless Pikachu actually are. Whilst talking about their plan, Meowth says he's so proud to be a part of this team. Why? You haven't achieved anything yet.
Just look at all of them.
Pikachu to the left, Pikachu to the right.
Piles of Pikachu everywhere.
If we turn over this many Pikachu to the boss,
We'll be promoted for sure.
I'm so proud to be part of this team.
You mean this main reason why he cry and say, I love this team?
You see that? Team Rocket are smarter than the wild Pikachu because they hit up a tree that was over ground, not water. Now you know for sure that that wild Pikachu is stupid because it's literally dumber than Team Rocket.
Meme! No meme! No meme! No meme! No meme! No meme!
So while you're all here cooing over how sweet and adorable it is that all the Pikachu are singing together, I'm just sat here thinking about what Ash's Pikachu's being. He's been traveling with Ash for months at this point, maybe even a year at this point, and the minute he's met these wild Pikachu, he's basically pretended that Ash does not exist. That yellow knobhead is a bad friend, ditching people as soon as someone more interesting comes along. Brock keeps harping on about how great it is for Pikachu to be here among its own kind. Listen, mate, if you're such a great person and you think Pokemon should be with their own kind, why haven't you released that Onix, Zubat, Geodude or Vulpix you're traveling around with? Or is it only important for Pokemon that you don't have to be with their own kind? Two-faced bastard, Brock.
Approved!
Ash's Pikachu turns to the small Pikachu and says,
Pika Pika!
which roughly translated means,
Oh my god, I'm having the best time with you guys. You guys totally get me. Ash who, am I right?
"39 episodes in and we're already getting reruns on Who's That Pokemon? Really?"
Lazy.
Well, actually, Liam, it's likely they used Pikachu for Who's That Pokemon for this episode because this episode focuses so heavily on Pikachu.
Oh, don't get me wrong, that's definitely why, but nobody likes repeats, do they?
Give me
Variety.
Okay then. Wait, you're not doing a side-by-side comparison of the English versus Japanese version? Really?
Misty compliments the dinner that Brock's made and Brock replies with,
What can I say? I'm a great cook.
"Dial it down a bit there, Brock, I didn't realise your secret ingredient was narcissism."
Prideful.
Ash is a little bit quiet, so Misty asks if he's okay. He tells her everything's fine and that he's never felt better. Ash, mate, you're eating meatballs out of a tin in the middle of the forest. Surely there are times where you felt better than you do right now. You're not fooling anyone, mate.
Hey, he just had the question about if Pikachu does want to leave his side and go with his kin. The way you just said that to Ash, that's heartless. And now I have to go to helmet and make me forget what I just said.
Ash is in deep thought about what would be best for Pikachu and then pictures Pikachu inside the campfire. Is that a threat? Ash, whatever you are thinking of here, just reconsider. Violence is not the answer. Do not do something that you will later regret. He's gonna set Pikachu on fire, isn't he? He's got a Charmander. He can do it. Our heroes hear a noise and they run over to find out what it is, and they find all the wild Pikachu have been caught in a net. And Ash tries to get the attention of his Pikachu by yelling, "Pikachu! Pikachu!" Well, that's not going to help, is it? They're all called Pikachu. Be more specific.
Yep, that's actually confusing with me as well.
After Team Rocket finished their motto, James thanks the fans for their loyalty and support. And rightly so, I mean, the last episode took the show off the air for 6 months. Misty orders Pikachu to use electric shock to break the ropes. Firstly, who the f*** are you? Ash is right there. He can command his own Pikachu. Secondly, electric shock isn't a move. Consult your Pokedex, love. And thirdly, can you actually break ropes with electricity? Like, is that a thing? I've genuinely wondered this for quite a long time. I guess if you could heat the ropes up enough with electricity, they'd break. That's if they even conduct electricity. I know what I'll do. I'll let someone down in the comments explain the physics of rope versus electricity in a massive paragraph that I will absolutely never read. I just don't have time to waste on stuff like...
First of all, Misty knew that Ash Pikachu knew Thunderbolt, meaning that rest of the Pikachus do that as well. Second of all, Thundershock is the Japanese name of Thunderbolt, mate. And thirdly, I would agree with you about why Misty want to use electric type move on the rope. I was until that you don't read the comments in the videos, which is stupid.
But you know what I always have time for? The electricity fails to break the net, and James explains that the Pikachu are no match for their new... Oh, what is it again? Ah, yes, their new Pikachu insulated seizure net. Really, Pokemon? Seizure net? I know that in this instance, seizure is a synonym for the word capture, but do you really want to use the word seizure in your first episode back after the Porygon incident? Say what you want about the Pokemon writers, but now they've got some balls on it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, seizure? Really? Really? They go for that word. Really? They cannot use the other words they could have used, like hijack or even obtain? I mean, these are the words that could be useful instead of one that maybe trigger anyone to pond that would hear that. Seriously, that's the most idiotic thing I ever heard of from 4Kids.
Ash says they have to save the Pikachu, but doesn't send out Charmander, who could burn the net open, or Pidgeotto, who could peck the net open, or even Bulbasaur, who could razor leaf the net open, I guess? To be fair, the only Pokemon we see in this episode, aside from in flashbacks, which don't really count, are about 30 Pikachu and Team Rocket's Meowth, which is part of the reason this episode's so goddamn boring. Variety Pokemon, it's the spice of life.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, really? You cannot send out any Pokemon in your team? Like, Bulbasaur use Laser Reef or Pidgeotto use Guts? Seriously, Ash? Seriously?
Apparently, being trapped in a net is like Viagra for Pikachu, since they've gone from a group of about 30 to what definitely looks like a good 100 at least.
I guess Liam doesn't know about a fishnet like this before.
All the Pikachu start chewing open the net. Why couldn't you have done that on the ground?
That's a good question.
Meanwhile, Ash and Co escape from the net they were trapped in simply by standing up. What even is this episode? Ash and friends hold their net open for the Pikachu to all jump onto. Thing is though, have you ever fallen onto a rope net yourself? Like on those outdoor obstacle things, they normally have like a rope net you can climb up or climb over, or you have to go across a beam to get across and there's one of those nets below. If you fall onto those, it frickin' hurts, man. What I'm saying is, give these rodents credit where it's due, because that's not an easy thing to jump onto.
So what? It doesn't matter if you got wolf burn. It is matter that you're safe from the impact of the ground. You know. So you don't kill by the impact of a gravity.
Shoot some blue guys.
I feel bad for this Pikachu, who patiently waits at the hole in the net but never gets given the opportunity to actually jump out through the hole. Poor guy just isn't assertive enough to take his turn.
Or that Pikachu let that Pikachu out to make sure the hole doesn't collapse when other Pikachus come out. You know, to make sure not anything fall apart.
I find it so weird that instead of just using Thunderbolt like always, Pikachu this time baits Team Rocket into damaging the gas valve of their hot air balloon and therefore overinflating it and then jumping out onto it and biting a hole in it so they blow away. Why not just use Thunderbolt like always? I guess I should just be thankful they're switching things up for a change.
I guess I should just be thankful they're switching things up for a change.
And goodbye.
Ash and Pikachu have a heartfelt moment after Ash catches Pikachu right before he can, you know, collide headfirst with the ground. And Pikachu has the actual gall to force his way out of Ash's grip and hop over him to go and see the other Pikachu. Pikachu's an ungrateful bastard. Pass it on.
Well, yeah, but he wanted to check it out that his kind is alright after, you know, the Team Rocket incident. You know, because he cared about his kin. Yeah, the jumping out arms of Ash is a move, but still.
The Pikachu all victory chant together for what seems like an eternity, which probably means the writers were struggling to fill their 20-minute episode time, even when that episode includes a 2.5-minute flashback. It's just sad, isn't it? Ash goes all emo and says he wants to leave Pikachu here in the forest because it will be better for all the wild Pikachu if his Pikachu is here to protect them. Alright, one, they'll be fine either way. They've survived in this forest long enough without your Pikachu's help, Ash, so don't go thinking yours is anything special. Need I remind you that yours almost drowned trying to save the littlest one and had to be rescued by the others himself? And two, you don't think it's for the best at all. You're just angry and jealous that when all these other Pikachu are around, your Pikachu acts like you don't bloody exist. Just be honest about it. Pikachu's been a prick all day. I can say it, why can't you? Because he's in a kid's TV show, Liam, and if he was like,
Pikachu, you've been a prick all day,
probably wouldn't go down well, would it?
Or Ash theorized that Pikachu would stay behind and live with Pikachu because, you know, Pikachu is his first Pokemon and he's sad that Pikachu would do that decision. Some want to rant about this one, but since he saw Pokemon Journey did keep the promise, he's actually relieved and let me talk about it. So, yeah. Also, Pikachu wasn't a jerk. He just, you know, want to know if Pikachu's alright. You know, because he cares about his own kin. But he doesn't want to leave his friend behind.
Oh, look what the cat dragged in. Nice of you to join us, mate. What happened? Did your new friend stop giving you attention? How unfortunate that you're forced to associate with Ash & Co. again. I hope your ego can handle it, mate.
Refer to the previous and that shall Ralph point out.
Ash tells Pikachu he's leaving, and Pikachu visibly doesn't want to stay here in the forest. But Ash, being the great pal that he is, ignores his friends protesting and runs off. So it's Ash that turned out to be the bad friend. Bloody hell, this episode's all over the place.
Okay, I fair with that. I mean, Pikachu seems like he wanted to come along, but yet Ash doesn't want to because he thought that Pikachu wanted to stay here. Like, really? Ash? You... Why even had that characterized?
Now, This is where I'm going to have to deliver a few hard truths about this episode, so buckle up. My most popular video is my top 5 saddest goodbyes in Pokemon. It's terrible, don't watch it, but the reason I mention it is because the comment section of that video is absolutely flooded with comments like,
"The saddest goodbye was Pikachu's goodbye."
And let me tell you why it just isn't. Right before the montage of Ash and Pikachu's time together, which is the sad bit that everyone goes on about, Pikachu is visibly arguing against Ash leaving him behind. So it was obvious that he wasn't just going to sit there in the forest and let Ash leave without him. The time between Ash walking away from Pikachu and Pikachu appearing on the horizon following him, clearly signaling he'll follow Ash wherever he goes, is less than 3 minutes. Can it really be called the saddest goodbye when you literally only have 2.5 minutes to feel sad before the show goes
JK lol?
And let's not forget, Pikachu is Pokemon's mascot and has been for 2 years at this point in the anime's history. And after Ash, Pikachu is undoubtedly the second most important character in the series and is front and center on everything. There is absolutely no way in hell they would have ever written Pikachu off randomly 39 episodes into the series. It's just not that kind of show. What I'm saying is, and I mean this with all the love and respect I can muster, you would have to be absolutely stupid to think that they were ever gonna let Pikachu be left behind.
Well, actually, Liam, a lot of us were young children when this episode first aired, and I think it's fair to say that this would have been easy to believe if you were a young child.
Nah. Even a kid ain't that dumb. You just have to be stupid to think Pikachu was going.
Or a child.
Nope, just stupid.
Or a child.
Nope, just a child.
Or stupid.
Nice one, Liam.
Also, the song that plays during the montage absolutely sucks. It sounds like the last song that plays at a 60th birthday party. Honestly, if I was Misty or Brock and Ash was being a little assuming that Pikachu would be better off without him and all that, I'd be like, well, break his Pokeball then. Make it official. And then as soon as he does, I'd catch Pikachu for myself and be like, well, technically, he is no longer traveling with you. Here's where some idiot writes in the comments about how Misty or Brock would absolutely morally never do that.
But Pikachu's an electric type.
Yeah, and Zubat's poison flying. What's your point? Oh, what a surprise. Pikachu's back. It's almost like the Pokemon Company loves money and would be stupid to write off the most marketable mouse since Mickey and Minnie. And Mighty, and Danger, and Jerry, and Speedy, and Pinky and Brain, and Megavolt, and Basil.
Who?
As Pikachu jumps back into Ash's arms, Ash yells,
Pikachu!
as though Pikachu just fell off a cliff. Go back and listen to it, it sounds really out of place. Like, imagine if I went to hug my girlfriend after 2 minutes apart and I was like, Sophie! This boy is crying because he was away from his friend for 2.5 minutes. Please, don't ever let yourself become this dependent on a single person for your happiness. It can have severe effects on both yours and their mental health. That's not even a joke. Like, it's genuinely not safe to be this clingy.
Meme! Approved!
In conclusion, it's just funny to me that people hold this episode in such high regard. Because looking back, it's genuinely boring and nothing much happens. Like, a summary of this episode is just, Ash thought Pikachu was going to leave, but Pikachu did not leave. I really do think nostalgia glasses are absolutely required in order to enjoy this episode, because let's be honest, it genuinely sucks. Sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much a filler episode that anyone really attached to it. Which really foreshadow of that, but still, wow. And no one actually nostalgic on this episode. And yet no one actually realized that.
What does mediocre even mean? Is my fashion pretty good, guys?
Pity clap for him, gentlemen. Pity clap.